Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
What up?
Matt Murray.
Hi there.
And James Farley.
Hello.
Wah, wah. How's it going?
It's one of those days,
You're
isn't it?
right. We've got a lot to talk about before we even get to feedback. First of all, I would like to play you something because I don't know if you listen to the IGN Unfiltered podcast. Many of you listen to this?
No.
Yeah. So it's just interviews with famous game developers and stuff. And one of their recent ones, episode 18, is an interview with Peter Molyneux. Which, you know, it's always fun to listen. I like him. I know he's a bullshit artist, and throughout the whole podcast, he fully admits it. I mean, you must have heard the story. It's been told before about how he got into the industry he was distributing beans across the country, and someone got the name of his business mixed up with, like, a big computer distributor. Who is it? It was someone big, wasn't it, James? I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was just another company that had, like, a really similar name. And,
no, I mean the company that hired him based on picking the wrong company name.
It was Commodore.
That's right,
yeah.
Commodore. and he just went, so, you know, you could distribute these computers for us. You've got experience in that. And Peter Molyneux was like, yep, yeah, we have. He got this massive contract out. Anyway, there's a part of the podcast where he's talking about the first office he worked in. And he was talking about how filthy and awful it was. And now, to me, this sounds like he was just about to admit that they were all taking Class A drugs, right? And it was all over the office. And then he stops himself. See what you think. I'll go play it for you now.
To this day, and he was a journalist on a magazine called Ace, which I don't think ever was sold over there, came into the studio. Now, when I say a studio, it was a room that was about the size of this, and it just smelled horrible. You know, there was several life forms which used to be pizzas in the corner, and there was, you know, piles of and of course
Definitely. Absolutely, 100%, definitely about to say cocaine.
Right. Now, we'll do it in classic computer game show fashion. One sec.
You know, there was several life forms which used to be pizzas in the corner, and there was, you know, piles of and
I'm just imagining Molyneux like the end of fucking Scarface, like.
I would love for him to finish that word. Just like,
I think that's pretty conclusive.
it's not just for legal sake. You know, he could have said piles of Coke cans or whatever. I don't know.
Coke cans, definitely, yeah.
But he definitely sounds like he's about to go piles of cocaine and stops himself. Honestly, I was at work. I rewound it 4 or 5 times. But yeah, check that interview out. It's genuinely really good. And I know, you know, I get so much shit from people. Oh, why do you believe what he says? And he's full of shit and stuff. And yeah, we know that. But I don't know. He is a liar, but he's our liar. You know, we've got him. I like him. And there's some cracking stories on there. Also, obviously, a lot has been. We've had a lot of feedback over the E3 stuff. Have you put that to one side, Matt? Because
yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
Well, do you want to go through that? Because we got something. Matt sent me an email and he's got a proposal, and I think we might be able to move this forward. But let's go through the feedback first.
Okay, what should we do? E3 or non-E3 stuff?
Just the E3 stuff first.
Okay, cool. So we've got some emails. Nicholas Tucker emailed in. Seriously, this E3 squabble has gone on quite long enough. I think it's time you all stop barking on and accept the obvious answer. During the E3 period, none of you can access the internet until the E3 special where the computer game show team up with Kane and Wince to be informed of the news by the Kane and Wince team. Yes, I know. Brilliant.
Who sent that?
That's Nicholas Tucker.
Nicholas Tucker, that is the single worst idea I've ever heard in my life. Right? You don't get it. You don't get the show. Delete, unsubscribe. Just, I mean, what? Cane and rinse.
I mean,
what
just
sort of lies are
imagine-
they going to come up with?
Imagine what lies they would come up with.
They'll mispronounce someone's name a bit differently and all be like snickering to themselves because we didn't get it. No, I'm not having it. We're not doing that. That's an awful idea. Next.
Adam from Stoke-on-Trent even has emailed it. Evening cretins. I mean, that's a bit harsh already, but whatever. First, the E3 show. I've been listening to game podcasts for a good long while. Your E3 show last year, the concept of having a member not aware of anything, is genuinely the most original and fun E3 coverage of all. Thank you,
Thanks.
Adam.
Yeah.
But you need to sort this year's out. It sounds as if everyone has dropped a clanger as far as dates and stuff, but nothing changes the fact that this was James's year. Was, is, and always will be. I know you'll be reading this.
Point.
I know you'll be reading this, James. Well, he's not. So loud and clear, don't fuck this up for the fans.
Right, keep that in mind, James.
Yep.
Go on.
Late to the party 82 tweeted us in the week. Well, for me, Sean would be the person who would miss the least amount of time out of the four, but I'm not taking sides. Long live the king. Adam,
I had to
stop
explain
saying-
to him that basically it doesn't matter. Like, whoever misses it has to miss it for the same amount of time.
You didn't know, did you?
Because
You
we
got
all
all
have
narky
to-
on Twitter.
because
You were
we
like,
all
well,
have
that's
to-
not the point. I've never seen you get so narky over something. And I like the fact that that's the thing that broke you. Usually you're like, hey, no worries, man.
There was
Yeah,
the lad who
no,
sent us that
that'd be
Gamergate video. That was worse.
cool." Oh, yeah, that was worst. I didn't even watch it. I just watched the drama unfold afterwards, just getting copied into you around with this fella.
So Adam, said, I think Sean will be the person who would miss the least amount of time, but I'm not taking sides. I tweeted back saying, I don't understand what that means, but also can you please stop saying long live the king?
Why? Why? Because it's not about you.
Because it's the worst, isn't it? It's just ridiculous.
Long live the king. Turn it into a hashtag, Adam. Let's get that
Do
rolling
not
out.
do that, Adam.
Get that on t-shirts, mate.
Stuart
Sell
Baker,
like
Stuart Baker
hotcakes.
piped in. Stuart Baker UK, classic Stu Baker. Not to mention it will be Sean having to miss 10 days of internet, which creates the same issue. The rest of them fucked it, basically. At least Stuart Baker's on the right page. He knew he knew a deal. And then late to party's back in. He doesn't give up. Well, 3 of you are away, but it would involve you all not being on the internet for the same amount of time. Sean would miss the same amount as last year. Then Sean kicked off. He was not happy at this point. But,
Sean went mental.
I
He
should
basically
point
called him
out, Adam's a good boy. He's been listening to this and Midnight Resistance for a long
good
time,
boy.
so we can have a bit of,
well,
you know,
if he's a good
he's
boy,
allowed in on the banter a little bit.
if
He has
he's
a
a
go
good-
at us for talking about food on Midnight Resistance every fortnight.
If he's
all
a
right.
good boy, Sean, why did he call him a cunt? I mean, that's harsh. That's what I don't understand. I mean, they're slagging off in a WhatsApp group. It's insane. Phil Nicklin.
That never happened, by the way.
No,
Just to be clear.
it's just banter. Phil Nicklin, as at Matt Murray can't stay away from the internet or work, it makes sense for him to miss E3 the year he's on holiday. Well, I don't know what.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense, but yeah.
That was it. Mostly that was the E3 feedback.
Right, okay, so let me take over for a sec, because part of me does think, actually, Sean shouldn't just get off scot-free, shouldn't be out of the running of this, because, it was his year next year, and he's literally got his wife pregnant so he could avoid it. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what he says, that's why he's having a kid. And he's going to have to explain that.
You never know. I might be around that by then. I don't know. I mean,
No, I think the three of us know that you will not be around.
Okay.
Next year. The three of us know that you're probably going to be sitting on the bench near the A217, staring into the distance because you just had a massive row with your wife and called your son or daughter a dickhead. Sorry, this is my own personal life brought into that, isn't it? Right, okay, so Matt emailed me a proposal of what we could do. He said, well, maybe we should let the fans decide between James doing it and this alternative. No, I disagree. I'm with you, James. I disagree. I think this is a decision that James has to make on his own. So we're going to offer James Farley an alternative. Matt, do you want to take it away?
Well, I've obviously read the feedback. I've seen the tweets. I've seen I've seen all what everyone's saying, and I think after careful consideration and actually thinking about what my life would be like, not working without the internet, it's pretty impossible. Maybe this is a good opportunity, seeing as I'm on holiday, for me to potentially not be present for what could possibly be the greatest E3 of all time. I mean, new Microsoft console, Nintendo's first, Switch, E3, Sony will probably do something. It's going to be a massive bumper year, but Dave and I are away on holiday together, so he could basically be there, essentially babysitting me for a week, checking I'm not going on the internet. I'll have to, just have my phone to one side. I won't be able to tweet that I'm on holiday. Do you really go on holiday if you don't tweet about it or Instagram it? I'm not even sure. So there goes all my Instagram stories for the week. That's a whole load of content gone. Weeks of planning, but fine. So, I won't be working, so I don't have to go on the internet. I'll just be on holiday with Dave and the fam. So maybe it is the best time for me to miss out on E3. I mean, it doesn't mean mine and Dave's plans of, having a beer, watching the conferences together in the evening when the women are asleep, that's out the window. So just have to read a book or play. I don't know what we'll do. I guess I have to turn around when you turn the PlayStation on, Dave, just in case there's something on the dashboard, and you have to.
Well, we're probably not going to be playing PlayStation. I'm pretty sure we've gone for the basic rooms this time. I don't think it's got a telly in there, so
switching it. So yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm obviously dreading it. I don't know what Matt Murray is like when there's no internet within arm's reach. And E3, that's just something I've been watching for years, and yes, Sony shows on at 2:00 in the morning, but I fucking love that. I live for that stuff. There's nothing better. But I guess
right. So
I can do it this year.
To summarise, James, you have a choice now whether to go ahead and do it or pass it off to Matt. Now you're going to need to think about this very, very carefully.
Okay.
What are your initial thoughts?
You're right, mate. I'll do it.
Whoa!
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Holy shit!
I'm still going to do it.
I did not expect that.
I'm still going to do it. Because
I'm also really disappointed.
Why?
Because if you'd have passed it off to Matt, I would have beaten you with that stick for a full year.
Then that's exactly that is exactly why I'm doing this, because I know that if I don't do this, this is going to hang over my head for forever, basically. And it's not just going to be you; it'll be Matt, it'll be everyone. So I'm going to do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. You'll see. It's going to happen.
James is stepping up. There we go. That's the end of... right, this is final now. This is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt,
Right.
I bet you're gutted because you mentally prepared yourself for doing it this year.
This is good. I get to enjoy the greatest E3 of all time. But
It's a good point. That is a good consolation prize. James, that's it. We've done now. No more bickering, no more arguing.
Are you really going to be able to stay off the internet when you're doing a conference and
No,
stuff?
that'll be easy, because it's, again, not really... I don't really need the internet for that. It's fine. So it's all right. Yeah. The thing is
arrogant.
No,
I don't even need the internet.
No. It's like you said though. It's like, I don't know. I don't think I really need it. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
the moment
just
you
10
land
days.
down in England,
I can do
anyone that knows anything about the internet, can we just give us a heads up in ways that we can make sure that if James fucks up, which he will, we can catch him out.
I can still use the internet though. It's just that I can't use Twitter. I can't use Facebook. All that kind of stuff.
You can't go on the
can't
BBC
use Twitter,
website because it'll be on there. You can't go
go on the BBC website.
You can't go anywhere you get news. You can't go.
It's fine. All I'll do, I'll reset. Well, I don't even have a homepage anymore, but you know what I mean. I'll get rid of all that stuff.
Turn your Switch off for over a week.
Yeah.
You're fine.
New Switch, baby.
Make sure your Wii U's not plugged in, because those full page ads will flash up all over the fucking place. Right, okay. I've never had I have actually, but it's rare that you have a console that's going, oh, buy the next one, please.
This
then my
one's shit
360
now.
did that. My 360 did that, so fair enough. Right, okay. Was there any other feedback?
Yeah, there was a bit of a minor debate about the whole me using my Mii as a character on Mario Kart, which, thinking back on it, I think it's totally fine.
It's not. It's insane.
Okay, I'll tell you why I think it's fine. I didn't have a Wii U, so for me it's like, oh, cool, Mii's again. I haven't got bored of him because I haven't had them for ages, so maybe it's different there. I think, yeah, it's cool, like seeing a little version of myself.
I just see, whenever you see them riding around, driving about or whatever, it just looks so out of place. Like, everything's so animated, and it, like, one of the great things about Mario Kart 8 is the animation is perfect. Like, it looks so incredible. And whenever you see a Mii, it's just like some wooden little figure in the car.
I can see that. I mean, I've been watching loads of people have done amazing edits of Mario Kart replays in the last week or so, like really funny stuff. I assume they're all doing that with like capture cards, right? Because you can't share video.
Yeah, which is weird because I mean, it's a mixed bag, right? Because obviously the Wii U version you could actually export to YouTube. That's not in this, which is frustrating. But it also means they probably weren't kidding about adding video recording support at some point. So, all right, I guess. Weird.
Yeah, it's such a shame you can't share video, but there's been those amazing ones, and I guess I do agree with you there, Dave. There's no animation in the Mii face, as opposed to and that's what's great about watching all the others. But whatever. Other people have agreed with me. Ben Cameron, related to the latest podcast, I play my Mii in Mario Kart 8, so solidarity there. Pete Haynes is saying, I'm with you, I play as my Mii in Mario Kart.
Oh my God, you are... Don't tell us, you're just outing yourselves. What are you doing?
Richard Williams, remat on Mario Kart, why would I play as Messi on FIFA when I could play as me wearing a Messi shirt? Good point.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I think he's agreeing with me.
He's taking the
being
piss,
sarcastic,
Matt.
isn't he? Yeah,
he's taking the piss, Matt.
Oh, bollocks. You got me, Richard. You fucking got me. Matthew, totally different subject now. Matthew Duffy on Twitter. Sean boasting about Tranmere beating Southport. It's like bigging up winning Mario Kart 8 versus a 3-year-old. Did you see how many we won? So I'm going to assume Duffy is a Southport fan.
Yeah.
Actual beef.
To answer the question, no, I didn't.
Tranmere, Millwall, both in Plough finals this season, Sean. It's been a good year for TCGS teams. Well, and actually, Chelsea, James's Chelsea, he's they're going to win the league. Yeah, that's amazing for them. Matt, still flirting with relegation.
We might move leagues. It's so exciting. It's great.
You got Big Sam, Matt.
You might be in the same league as us next season. That's still a genuine possibility.
Oh. Yeah, anyway, let's not talk about it. I'll get too depressed.
Okay.
SMW what was it? It was 5-0, wasn't it, Matt? The last game?
What? That's Man City, James. What do you expect? Anyway, SMW. Every time I hear the name Donkey Kong, I now think of JCA Farley. What a legacy! Have I missed some story arc here?
I don't know either.
There's some Donkey Kong connection. Anyone?
No, I'm not with you on that.
Stu,
no,
get back in touch, man, because I think I must have missed something here.
Get back in touch, man.
Get back in touch, man. Adam Capone, best line of the last podcast. It was just boom, giraffe, lovely, so good. That was Dave talking about the best moment in Last of Us, and actually that was an incredible line which I listened to at least twice after that.
I didn't explain on the show either that I've got a weird thing for giraffes. I fucking love them. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh, you bloody brilliant bastards. Like the lot of you, your massive neck and that. Fucking top boys, just roaming around the earth like they don't give a shit. I fucking love giraffes, man. They're the business.
It was just boom, giraffe, lovely, so good.
They are good. That's the thing. Yeah. I was tempted to make sure that Harry never saw a giraffe until he was about 16. Like, try and keep it from him until he was about 16, and then just go, look at these cunts. just watch his
Aliens
face
have landed.
Explode. Yeah. Oh my God, those things are amazing. I love them.
That would be incredible. Nicholas Tucker, I know we mentioned his email about the E3 stuff, but the latter part of his email says, also, can Spoilerbot take over as the funny one when Sean leaves?
Yes.
I mean, that's implying... That's implying
Sean is the funny one.
It's a mixed bag, that, isn't it? Because on the one thing, he's calling me the funny one, but then he's also saying I can be replaced by a fucking robot. So,
which is also Dave.
No one would know the difference. Yeah. I mean, I think he's accidentally saying, he's just not put that sentence right. Just like I did then. He's, I've said this about Sean. He knows his games. His comedy's not his top priority. It's not why we picked him.
No, it's for the EDF knowledge, not the gags. Not gag man. Character based.
And that's it, is it?
If you want to tweet us or give us feedback on this show or any others, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter or thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Good. Sean, now's your time to shine, mate. News.
Mate, it's been shite. There's been
been diabolical.
So, right, normally we don't really do sales figures,
I
news
love
stories.
For the 10 o'clock, the news at 10 to start like that. Mate, it's been shite.
It's been a shite, lads.
Nothing's happened in the world.
So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has fucking flown out. Which, I mean, I guess, on the one hand, there's nothing else to buy for the Switch at the moment, but I was really surprised by this.
That's what I saw when I saw the headlines of it's already sold more than any other game in April, and I was thinking, what game's in April?
It's outsold Sniper Ghost Warrior 3.
Unbelievable. Well, it sold 425,000 copies in one day, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which is
absolutely nuts.
It also outsold Mass Effect Andromeda, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which is mad. I know not many people had Wii U's, but Mario Kart 8 was one of the few games that properly shifted on the Wii U and shifted a few Wii U's to boot. So I assumed this was kind of going to do the same, if not a bit less. But it's
also sold more than Mario Kart on Wii, didn't it?
Yeah.
And
again, that was huge. So,
but that doesn't make, because they did a bundle, didn't they? Because the one I got, the Wii U I got, was with Mario Kart 8 bundled. Nobody bought it, it seems, which is that's kind of crazy. But apparently, this has been bundled with the Switch in Russia for some bizarre reason. It's
right.
Yeah, there's they've done.
Yeah, they were trialing bundles somewhere, don't they? I read that as well. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't so. It was like saving £10 worth on the Switch.
That's probably what's going to come for Christmas, though, isn't it? They'll probably do a bundle, and it'll be
Odyssey, won't it?
I doubt it, because they want people to buy that.
I was going to say, the thing with bundles is, if it's still selling, why would they won't need to do an official bundle, will they? What, unless it's
true, if it's shifting anyway, then who cares?
Yeah, but isn't it incentive to just shift more? I mean, the what they're shaving off of it is so minimal for them that they'd be making the money on selling the consoles and the game, right? So that's the idea by them.
I guess, but if they're going to sell it anyway. It'd be interesting to know.
You could buy Horizon Zero Dawn with a PS4 at launch. What's the difference there? I think it's the same thing. No, I think we will see Odyssey bundles at Christmas. I bet. Anybody? Right, okay. Is that all that's in the news?
The only other thing I could find that was vaguely interesting, are you guys familiar with Pray for the Gods?
Only after this news story.
Well, see, this is the interesting thing, isn't it? So this is an indie game that's been in the works for a while. It's only 3 people making it, but it looks like pretty high budget. It's basically a Shadow of the Colossus, I want to say rip-off, that's a bit harsh, but...
homage.
I mean, personally, I feel like it's been long enough. I'm quite happy for someone else to have a crack at it, but whatever. It's, person climbing around on giant monsters and stabbing them, and looks pretty good. But yeah, it's been in development for a while, but it's just had a bit of a PR boost off the fact that Bethesda's lawyers got in touch because the game's got the word "pray" in the title, and they were...
Oh, come on.
And Bethesda's defense is look, this ain't our fault. This is how copyright law works, and they're not wrong. But it feels like Bethesda are developing quite a form for this because they've done it before. And you don't hear it so much from other big publishers. It just seems to be pretty much just Bethesda. Because who else? Oh yeah, because they had a go at Mojang, makers of Minecraft years ago, because they made a game called Scrolls, and they thought that sounded too much like Elder Scrolls. And there's been another indie developer they've tussled with in the past. And like I say, I get it, because I know the way copyright law works is if you don't defend every single instance of something sounding like something of yours, the one day you have a legitimate claim and you're trying to shut someone down, if you can't show that you've always picked the fight when you could have, then it's you didn't bother on these other occasions, so maybe you're not that arsed about your copyright, mate. And it's ludicrous that that's how the law works.
There was all that thing. Do you remember was it Tim Langdale with Edge?
Yeah. That was great.
It was amazing.
Pure copyright trolls. He's a different beast altogether, but yeah, so basically the game's still called Pray for the Gods, but it's now Pray spelt Praey.
Brilliant.
So
what way around it? I wonder if that does get around it, or if they could still go for it. Because if IDOS Interactive are listening, there's a podcast called Cane and Rinse that you might want to contact.
Shut those mothers down.
It's an interesting way they got to that title, isn't it?
It's called Kane with 2 A's, 4 N's.
That's a terrible news story. It really has been bad. You know,
Yep.
in real news, they go out and start looking for bits and pieces, don't they? Instead of just checking
time for that.
Eurogamer and seeing what's on there and then deciding nothing's good enough.
Sean, at that point, you should have picked like an amusing story from around the world. You know, also this week.
A guy dropped a DS cart in his Hoover. What I suggest you do, Sean, is we've got a big enough audience now for you to make the news rather than
just
read
It's
it.
fake news.
Like him on Tomorrow Never Dies. It's like
Just go in and
Like
kick
him
someone
on
in a
White
game.
House.
Report on it. Right, okay, should we get to what we've been playing then? I think we should probably start with Matt this week.
Yes, let's. I've been playing Prey, and I think it's really, really, really brilliant.
okay.
Have you? Because didn't you message us the other night saying that you didn't get around to actually playing it? Was that a couple of nights ago? Right?
Yeah, there's a couple of nights. Yeah, so on a Saturday night, wife was out with her friends. My daughter was asleep. It's 8:00. I'm like, this is it. I bought Prey that day. I had a pizza in the fridge. Like, it's gonna be a perfect night. And then I made the mistake of sitting down. And then that was 8:00, and I woke up at midnight. So that totally fucked that night of game playing. But that's what happens if just tired. It was annoying. Anyway, I have played it since
Mate,
then.
that's happened to me quite a few times. Not necessarily falling asleep, but where Joe's been out, I've had some food, like easy food in the fridge or whatever, and I've sat down and just opened my phone, and then 2 hours later, I'm still watching videos of angry Russians shouting at each other. And
You need to prepare yourself, Matt. You need to get the caffeine in and all that ahead of time, to sort of get yourself ready for it.
I've been out the night before, like I have a few drinks, and then that same morning I thought I'd do like a 14-kilometre run, and then that knackered me out, and I got it. So I woke up feeling gutted, like I was like, oh god, it's not often I get a whole night gaming. Anyway, whatever. I did play Prey, and what I have played, I think it's fantastic. So the demo I thought was good, and as I said in last week's show, really interested me. I must say I didn't actually finish the demo, but it was certainly enough to get me interested. But from what I played of the main game, and I'm only like about an hour or two further than I was in the demo, I think it's really, really fantastic.
Okay, what is standing out for you? What's making it fantastic?
I just absolutely love the storytelling in the world. I love the environmental storytelling. I just think it's so interesting. Like it's absolutely dripping with atmosphere. Obviously, as we mentioned on last week's show, these mimic enemies, these enemies that take the place of a cup or a binder or something in the world which you don't really know until you get really close to them, and suddenly they sort of jump out and start attacking you. That means that you can't just go darting into rooms. Like every room you're sort of creeping around just in case, a bookshelf attacks you or toilet roll or whatever. And it's just got really, really fantastic atmosphere in that, but also that how you're trying to piece together the story, reading emails on terminals or reading notes or other things here and there.
Matt, can I ask you a question about this?
Go.
Have you played BioShock before?
I played BioShock Infinite, but everyone says this is totally BioShock. Yeah.
Because I just wondered, because what I've heard, because I've only played the demo, but what I've heard of it is a lot of people have said that the story stuff is kind of the weakest element of this game. Compared with a lot of other similar sort of things, especially compared with BioShock.
But where have you heard this from? Where's your sources? Where are you getting your sources?
They were talking about this on Glixel. They were talking about
of course
how
it was. I forgot that podcast is back. So get prepared for regurgitated words from Glixel straight from the mouth of James Farley again.
Yeah, I haven't played the original BioShock, but yeah, everyone says that it feels very BioShock. It feels obviously incredibly System Shock too. I mean, story-wise, at least the basic concepts, it's incredibly similar to that.
James, did you play the System Shock games?
No, I didn't. I've only played the BioShock ones.
What, from 1 through to Infinite?
Yes, yeah.
Did you play the DLC for Infinite?
No, I never got around to that. No. Was it
Everyone's
actually good?
About that.
Was it good?
Yeah, everyone was saying it's like the best thing BioShock. Like it was the best BioShock thing.
That was the same with BioShock 2, though, wasn't it? It was in the core game wasn't that great, but then the
Den.
That's the one. Yeah, that was supposed to be amazing.
I know. I didn't play. I only played BioShock 2 for an hour, I think. Sorry, Matt. Yeah,
BioShock Infinite. Yes, I didn't play the first one. BioShock Infinite, I thought obviously the first hour was amazing, and then I just I played it and I finished it. The story was easily the most interesting thing about that game.
Yeah,
I think. When I was playing BioShock Infinite, I wasn't thinking, "Oh, this feels Half-Life-y," which is definitely the vibes I'm getting for this, and I just absolutely love it. I can't really, I guess, describe in much more detail why I love it so much. And I'm only about 3.5, 4 hours in right now, but it's dripping with atmosphere, and it's super tense. It looks great. I will say, I have had some issues with input lag. Not massive things. This is something that a lot of people have been complaining about, actually. It just feels like there's a millisecond where it's not as responsive as I'd like. I had a really weird error earlier on in the game. I haven't seen much dialogue recently, so I can't see if it's been replicated. But basically, when dialogue was happening, so I'd hear dialogue, and then it'll be like a second or two until the actual subtitles come on screen. And when they come on screen, for the first quarter of a second they were on screen, it's like the text, there's like the kerning wasn't correct on the text. They were sort of stretched, and then suddenly it'll jolt into like, so the font looks proper and looks correct. It's really weird, but yeah, I've had those sorts of weird issues. I was even on slowdown on the main when I first started the game. Before I even started the game, I'd loaded the game up, got to the main menu. When I was looking through the settings, I was even having like slow down that. I was pressing something and it would take like 4 seconds for like the next. If I was pressing down to go to the next option, it would take like 4 seconds to actually go down for actually the cursor to move. Ooh. God knows what that's about.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm hoping it's something they can patch. Also, there's also no PS4 Pro enhancements, which is also weird and slightly annoying. I thought Sony had stipulated that there had to be like a PS4 Pro mode. I mean, there doesn't feel like there's any enhancements. It's still 30 frames. It's certainly not 4K, and so it's that's a bit disappointing. But that in no way detracts from the game. And yeah, I know I'm only early on, but yeah, it's really got me hooked. I was just playing before this podcast actually, and it's just I just want to keep playing. It's fantastic, and yeah, I thought the demo was really great, and I was really interested, but I'm loving the game much, much more. I'm not quite sure what the difference is really. I think maybe because in the demo you don't get a lot of. I don't think you actually get any of the newer mods, and those are the upgrades which you can use to upgrade like your stealth abilities or your ability to scavenge materials from the environment, to get extra health, or to get to be able to recycle more materials to build weapons and whatnot. You can really do that in the demo. One of the class guns you get its glue gun, which is in the demo, and you basically fire these huge chunks of glue, and you can basically find them enemies to then freeze them, and then you can smash them with a wrench. But the great thing about that is you can also use that glue gun to fire these huge bobs of glue and use that as a platform to get anywhere. And I saw a gaff thread yesterday saying that this is very similar to Zelda. I mean, I don't think it is, but I do see what they were trying to say in that there's loads of different ways to try and get into a different room or get to another area, and you can use this glue gun. You can find key cards, you can find passwords, and I think this glue gun is going to be an interesting weapon and tool to actually explore around the world. There's one I was going around the space station trying to find this previous area that I'd been in previously, and I couldn't quite find it, but I knew it was just over to a certain direction, even though I couldn't actually find the area of how to get there. So I just fired loads of glue, and I started jumping on the glue, and it basically it felt like I was trying to break. I felt like I was breaking the game. Again, these are the best things that you feel when you're playing Zelda. It feels like you're doing things that you shouldn't actually be allowed to do, but I'm doing it in this game as well. So I'm interested to see how far I can push it with that. It's obviously giving me nothing compared to the stuff you can do in Zelda, but it's interesting that this is one of the first big games I played after Zelda, and it's doing the same sort of thing, allowing me to craft and allowing me to navigate my way through the world using this interesting gun. Sorry, but yeah, loving it so far, and I can't wait to play more.
I've heard the shooting itself is a bit disappointing, a bit lacking, right?
Yeah, it's weird, like because the mimics move so fast. When you do get attacked, I just feel like I'm shooting everywhere, and it's obviously nowhere as smooth as, say, like a Destiny and one where you can, with pinpoint accuracy exactly where you're shooting, exactly where you're aiming. That does feel a little bit weird. And I've turned the sensitivity up. I mean, maybe I can turn it up a little bit more. But it doesn't feel incredible as a shooter, but atmosphere, storytelling wise, and the stuff I'm interacting with, and the puzzles is really great. I mean, it's done a thing which I love when games do. It's actually made me get my phone out and take a picture, because there's been like saying, for instance, there's like passwords on screen or door codes or emails, and I'm like, okay, I'll take a picture now because it could be useful later. There's a really amazing puzzle. I probably won't. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it. Basically, I went to this room and there was a safe in the room, and I tried to find the code for the safe, and actually there was a whiteboard I found in the room, and it said safe code. But there was a code that had been written on, but it's clearly been wiped off with someone's hand. So I'm like, how do I work out what the safe code is? And later on, I watched a video, and some of the things you see in the video, you're like, oh my god, this is so clever. How you sort of see.
What do you mean? You watched the video? What, on YouTube or in the game?
No. So you watch a video in the game. So you go to this place, a video plays, and then you see that room from a different angle, but before the hand wipes the code off, and it's like, oh god, that's brilliant, because the way you're angled, you would only see it if you're going to actually try and look around the video, because it's rather than to look at it straight on, you can sort of move to the side and see extra bits of the video. It's this weird sort of 3D bit in the game, but don't worry about it. Yeah. Anyway, I think there's going to be lots of interesting ways to solve puzzles, and I'm loving it so far.
Cool. Early on, we'll catch up with you next week.
Do none of you fancy getting it at all?
I'm not.
I'm
just
skint,
games.
and I can't do scaries.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Not having any money.
I mean, I don't think I get scared super easy, but I don't think it's scary at all. But I can. Okay. I know there's some. Well, I guess some elements of jump scares, but I mean, I'm the biggest wuss ever, and it's not. It's not, hasn't really affected me. I think that. Right. Yeah, but no, I'd recommend it so far. I know I'm loving it.
Cool. Anything else?
I played a bit of Mario Kart, but yeah, just that's.
Are we all still playing that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every day, every fucking day.
Yeah, it's great, Mario Kart.
Really
but
good.
I will say one thing. I mean, it's annoying as fuck when it's just red shells and there's literally nothing you can do. I know that's what Mario Kart's about, but yeah, like I'm obviously going through the 50 and 100cc stuff, and it's getting to the point when I'm like, well, I might as well just hang back in second. And so I don't get all the blue shells and red shells, and then just bomb it for the last lap, because it's if you
see, there are tactics, Matt. Like, for example, if you're in first place, always go for the double items, even if they're slightly out of the way.
Yeah, of course.
Always, because you'll get a coin and a banana skin.
Yeah, and you can hold that out of the back, and it'll take the banana skin or the green shell. Yeah, I do that, but
the game will still fuck you once in a while. But 9 times out of 10, if you're good enough, you'll be fine.
I mean, I've found that with the 150cc, because I've done all the 50. Do you know what I found out the other day, which kind of annoyed me? I don't know if it's actually true, but if you do the 150cc first,
I was going to say,
it gives you the cups for all the others.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I was told that.
Yeah,
someone from work told me that, and I was like, but then obviously you don't get all the coins that you would ordinarily have amassed.
You don't get the learning curve. But there's a big jump between 100 and 150cc though, like in terms of difficulty.
I always found that the jump from 100 to 150, it didn't feel like it was any faster. It just felt like the AI would be dicks.
It's exactly and it's like you're guaranteed. Like if you're first, you're guaranteed you're going to get blue shelled, like at least once or twice, and it always seems to happen in like the last stretch before you're just about to go over the finish line. It's like I've lost so many sort of games like that. It's
just never bothered me. I just I think 100cc is maybe it's because I've played it so much, but 100cc is way too easy. Like I'd never had any problems with that. 150, yeah. I mean, but then every time I'd not finished first, I was kind of like, okay, all right, well, we'll go again, because I go for the 3 stars is what I'm aiming for, because I think it's easy to win a GP, but I want to go for 3 stars.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But that's what's annoying when you've done it's free, you could go 3 stars, and on the last lap, the last bit of the last lap, like someone trash you and suddenly you're second. You're like, that's it. That's 15 minutes wasted.
Especially like you do it, and it's like, what's the last course? Oh, and it's Rainbow Road. And then you know that's inevitably going to happen. It's just horrible. But
you're more tapped into the Nintendo community, Sean. Why do people bitch and moan about Baby Park? The best course in the game.
No, yeah, I think most people I know love it.
So many people I know is like, oh fuck, Baby Park, this is fucking bullshit.
I mean, it is bullshit. It is bullshit, but it is funny. Yeah,
it's so
which one's
fun.
that?
Like the carnage. Baby Park's the one where you just go round and round.
Oh yeah,
and there's like 9 laps instead of But because it's like the course is so short, you're lapping people within the first lap, and it's just like all kicking off everywhere. It's fantastic.
Did you see how like Nintendo UK did like some poll where they were trying to see like what's the most popular courses? And again, Rainbow Road was like the main thing. It like
what?
I know.
What's wrong with people?
I know. Well, people vote for Brexit, don't they? And also for Rainbow Road. It's just
I don't know what's worse.
It's terrible.
Right. Okay. Sean, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Ruin of the Reckless. It's a PC game on the PC. As far as I can tell, no plans to bring it to console, which is kind of a shame. We'll get to that in a minute. So it's an action roguelike thing where you're going up a tower, you're going through floors, and you've got a melee weapon and a magic spell, and then you have like other items that you gather and stuff and other abilities. And you're just fighting your way through each floor and getting stronger, and then usually dying quite early on because it's a roguelike and it's quite hard. But it's really good fun. It's like controls wise, it just feels like it's perfectly responsive, and there can be a lot of shit going on, like literally 20, 30 enemies all bearing down at you at once, but you usually do all right. Like it's just that's perfect action game thing of like whenever you die, it's like, well, yeah, it's because I wasn't concentrating, or I was shit. I was definitely shit. It never feels cheap. And yeah, like there's all like different melee weapons you can pick up that are all really interesting. Sort of different attack patterns and stuff that like every time you pick one up, you're like, right, hang on, this is how I need to approach enemies. This is how I need to think about how I'm dealing with like, massive groups of them and stuff. So you might get a sword that like lets you dash forward but attacks in a straight line, or you might get like a fist that like knocks enemies back, or like a scythe that swipes like around you, stuff like that. On the surface of it just seems pretty obvious, but once you're into like how all these different types of enemies sort of come at you and how they attack you, it's like you find yourself having to think about these things a bit. Tons of different magic spells. Like you start off with like a basic fireball one, and then there's all sorts of weird shit. Swords floating around you, lightning bolts, stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, visually it's weird, right? Because it's the roguelike, so it's all randomly generated. The environments don't look amazing, but the characters really do. So what I think has happened is, the artist responsible is very good, but obviously when you're having to design sort of bits of visuals then have to stitch together randomly by a computer, you're sort of restricted in how you can make things look, and I think it kind of suffers from that a little bit. But I mean, it's fine. Like it's totally serviceable. But yeah, like my only complaint is that like it's really good for like quick blasts on it, and I'm doing that thing again where I'm like, imagine if it was on the Switch though. That would be fucking perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about that about so many games right now.
I know, and it's bullshit. And it's not fair, but it's because it's on the PC. Like if I'm turning my PC on, that, I mean, if you play a lot of PC games, this will probably seem stupid, but to me, that's like turning the PC on feels like a faff.
It's an event.
Like, it's like
how you've got to work yourself up to.
Exactly, yeah. It's like if I'm going to turn the PC on, it's because I'm going to play something for like 3 hours straight.
You should get an Nvidia Shield.
That's true, yeah. I mean, I know, like most people
you still
leave
got to
their
turn
PCs on
the PC on.
Yeah.
It was something you'd said back when the Switch come out, that the instant on stuff with that was just like a game changer. Yeah. And at the time, I was thinking, my Xbox and PS4 does that, but nah. I mean, it is insane. You just press that button, boom. I've even had to turn off like, when you press the button 3 times to get in to the console. I turn that off now, and it makes it even faster. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It's crazy.
But yeah, it's proper good fun. It's got we talked about this with Tumblesea, but it's got the smart roguelike thing of as you progress, you fulfill certain objectives and stuff, and then that gives you a bit of a leg up. Like you can, you have like this in the lobby where you start. There's like this table with all sort of tarot cards on it. This sort of tarot cards, and basically you earn these cards as you go, and they can all affect the game in different ways. Some of them make it harder, but some of them make it easier. So again, it's that thing of like you're gathering them, and then you're helping yourself out a bit. So you're sort of slowly building this momentum with each run, and it's proper fucking good fun. It's got co-op, but even though on the Steam store page that says it has co-op and local co-op, which to me means online and local, it is local only, which is kind of a shame.
Weird.
But, because again, it's like, it's a PC game, like how many, I mean, I know PCs in the living room are more common these days, that's where mine is, but actually, like people who have the PC in the living room and can get many people sat around it is relatively rare, I think. Switch version, please.
Yep, as with all games now.
Have they said there's going to be a Switch version?
They've not said anything about console versions. I mean, it was made in Game Maker, and I'm not saying it's a case of, well, you just hit the export button and make it a PS4 game or a Switch game. But
is that properly compatible then, like with loads of shit?
I think Game Maker's all right on the Switch. Yeah, I know Unity has only recently had sort of proper Switch support added. But yeah, you would think it wouldn't be
just
be on
export
the
a Switch.
To sort that out.
Come on.
Yeah, just press the Switch button, idiots. No, I think it would do really fucking well on Switch. I'd be surprised if they haven't at least asked. I gather Nintendo are being a bit weird about what they are. Have you you guys heard about this?
Yeah,
I think this is the developers of N++, which by all accounts is very good. They approached Nintendo about putting it on Switch, and Nintendo just like, no, we're busy. We only want things that are
going to sell systems.
Or new. Basically, going to sell systems, or they are either new or exclusive to Switch. And because N++ has been out a while, it's just like, no, back the queue, mate.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Because they need games as well. You just think
but there must be a reason that it's just not as simple to put things on there.
But surely just as much games as possible. But they're being picky already, which is interesting. I don't know what that really says. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It must take Nintendo resources to get these games on there.
It implies there's a resource issue at Nintendo that they're having to devote time to. I've got a copy and I've got to drag a copy onto the server. I can't be bothered. But then you look at some of the shit that ended up on the 3DS eShop and to a lesser extent the Wii. It's like I don't know if I mind them curating it a bit more this time around. I don't know.
Okay.
Bruno the Reckless, tenner, very good.
£10. That's pretty good. All right, cool. Next.
That's it from me.
That's it.
I've been shit.
I'll do mine then. I've been playing a game called Idle Universe, which someone suggested that I should play on the new Discord, the computer game show Discord. How do people get on that?
I've put a pinned tweet on top of our Twitter profile, but I was going to mention this at the bit at the end, but yeah, basically we've set up a Discord channel for fans to chat amongst themselves. And obviously we'll get involved too. But yeah, there's a Discord channel.
It was hilarious how this came about, because Matt was like, we had sort of like a fans Discord thing, and Matt come into the WhatsApp group, make me admin. And I was like, what?
So I wanted it done properly.
Make me admin. And then what are you going to do with it? Just make me admin. And then when I went to make him admin, it come up on my thing, are you sure you want to hand over all responsibility to this person? I had to think about it long and hard before I said that. I just thought, what are you going to do with this, Matt? Well, I don't know, really. Just sort of like, I don't know. What was it you said? You gave the shittest excuse.
I don't know. Look into it.
Anyway, whatever. I know you're power hungry with this sort of shit, so I handed
just want to make sure it's done right. Anyway, yeah. So...
Anyway, someone in there turned around without saying much, saying, "Hey, if you like science, then check out Idle Universe on the Apple Store, or whatever, the App Store on the phone." And not knowing what it was, I sort of downloaded it and was greeted with this screen with like a dot on it and just a bunch of like numbers beneath it and stuff. And I was like, what the fucking hell is this? And I've not stopped playing it since. And do you know why this is bad? It's one of those tap games.
Yeah, it's just a clicker, isn't it? It's just like
the clicker. Yeah,
numbers go up.
I've never got into these things. Well, that's a lie. There's loads of them, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
This is like a huge thing. And I remember playing one years and years ago that was based around Breaking Bad.
Oh God, yes, I played that as well. Yeah, that was amazing. I hammered that.
It was like
for a good day.
Wasn't it in Excel or something?
Yeah, I think it's a website. It was on a website. Yeah.
And I just played and played and played it until that was
so
it. I'd
good.
unlocked everything and done everything, and then that was it. And I remember at the time thinking, I do not know why I'm doing this. Not only that, I don't know why I'm thinking about it all the time and why every free moment I've got, I'm clicking on this fucking game and checking to see how much I've accumulated while I've been away. This is even worse because obviously they've learnt things and they've changed a few things and they know they've sort of got the art of these things down. It's insane. I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know why I'm doing it. It literally, so if you don't know what a clicker game is, there's something, it could be anything, whatever the theme is. I think there was one on eggs not too long ago that took over the world, where you just click something and that makes numbers go up, and then you can spend those numbers on buying things that make those numbers go up faster. And the way this works, so the idea is you're essentially, I guess, building up an object. So you start off with a god of taps, and that's like your first tap, and you've created a quantum foam, which then turns into futon. Futon's a chair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then a new. Oh, you can tell I'm into science. A neutrino, and then an electron, and then a quark, and then a proton, and an atom. I'll tell you where I'm up to. Molecule, dust, grain of sand. I'm on rock now, just about to create an asteroid. And it's just... There's a thing, there used to be lots of conversations made by people saying, oh, video games are addictive, and what makes them addictive. And this is just distilled addiction, down to getting rid of all of the frills, everything you like about games, that's all gone, and it's literally just taking it down to the basics and proves that video games are definitely addictive.
The best thing about it is that you're not even clicking, are you? Once you've got to a certain point, with most other clicker games that I've played, you upgrade your stuff to a point where you don't even need to click because it's already clicking fast and you can even click. So you're literally just watching numbers go up and like, okay, I need to upgrade.
That's what usually happens. But this is what I'm saying about them sort of perfecting the art. I mean, that would usually take in a normal clicker about a day or two to get to a point where you go, actually, I could just let that run in the background and check it. But no, it's very, very clever with what it does. So you can not only upgrade all the stuff, all the bits that you've got, because for every one of those things, that list that I read out there, every one of those things that I've said, they've got a timer to them. And the lowest goes up every second, then the next one goes up it pays off every, 3 seconds, then every 10 seconds, and then it goes up to like a minute 30 for your big guns. That's how long it takes for those ones to pay off and stuff. And you can also upgrade your taps. So you spend a lot of your currency on taps. So every time you spend a bit of currency on a tap, each tap is worth more. So you're constantly trying to balance out from expanding your timed payoffs to how much you're getting for each tap. Not only that, when you close the app down, this is what's very clever about this. When you close the app down and go back to it, it says, hey, you've paused time for 3 hours. You can now press this button and it will warp you forward 3 hours, but you'll only get 25% of what you would normally earn, right? And it says up to a limit of 8 hours. So it basically says you have to log on every 8 hours if you want to get this bonus type thing. And it's all I've thought about. And Joe looked at me the other day and said, "What the fuck are you doing with your phone?" Joe, I'm tapping with 4 fingers because I get 4 times the amount of money or currency that I was getting. It's just, I can't believe I've fallen into this trap again, because I did it once and I got to the end of that Breaking Bad one and went, I am never going to do this again. And I've tried a couple since then and was happy with, hey, I've broken the spell, I'm fine. And I'm right back in it again. It's like I've relapsed. And this is not going to be good, because by the looks of it, this game is going to it doesn't just end like those ones do. Someone said, wait until you implode, then it gets even better with more bonuses. I was like, oh my god, I need to get to that point now. So I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble, boys. Not only that, all of the microtransaction stuff in it is so disgusting. It's like, hey, you can, it's 25% every time you go back into it. You can raise that if you give us a little bit of money, or hey, you can do it so that forever, like, I think it's like £6, so that every tap is worth double like than what it was if you hadn't have bought that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I've just downloaded it, Dave. It's
Matt, you're going to be you'll be worse than me if you get into
like
this.
You would not believe.
Yeah, I'm literally sitting here now with my phone to my right, with 3 fingers just tapping away. I've been doing that all show.
I do actually have to tap, because that Breaking Bad one was clicking at the beginning, and then actually there was literally no click in it, and I was like, the numbers
watch the numbers go up.
All I was doing was doing the upgrades, but now I actually have to. So this doesn't auto tap. I actually have to do this myself, right?
Well, no. It's sort of, that's what I'm saying. That each time you upgrade whatever it is in the middle, whatever it is you're tapping, it gives you a timed payoff. So my smallest amount, I get 69.37 trillion, whatever it is, whatever the currency is. I can't even remember the name of it. Every 1.5 seconds, and then the next one's 2 seconds. I get 11 billion because I haven't upgraded that much. Shit, actually, I have upgraded my basic one a hell of a lot, 419 times. See, this is what I'm talking about. Even upgrading things, like, whereas with that one, you could upgrade things like, with the Breaking Bad one, you upgrade things like 4 or 5 times. With this, I've upgraded 419, 246, 200 times, 200 times. It's ridiculous.
Dave,
and then
how many ads have you watched?
2.
Oh, okay.
You could completely
just said, like, watch ads for 2,500 something. So I was like, yes,
yeah,
indeed,
I've not done any of that. There was one right at the start as I loaded the app, and there was one where I accidentally pressed that diamond, and it showed me a
War Dragons on iOS.
Have you, James? Have you ever fallen into one of these traps?
No, I've very little interest in this. It just
James, give it a go.
Yeah,
give it a go. I just want to see if you get addicted.
Okay, what's it called again?
It's called
Idle Universe.
Yeah. Idle
Universe.
I've been tempted because I've seen people banging on about Space Plan, which is a similar thing, and everyone's saying that's like genuinely good.
Oh yeah, people
it's not,
were also mentioning that.
It's not good. It's shit. But for some reason, it gets inside your brain and it itches away at you, and I wake up in the middle of the night to collect my points. What? Go on.
So why am I downloading this if it's rubbish? What's the thing?
Because I just want to see if you become addicted.
It's got in-app purchases. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I told you, you can avoid all that. I haven't spent a penny on it, but you can see why people would. James, here's your task. I want you to get to at least an electron before you give up, and I want to see if you stay addicted to it, because fuck me, it's horrendous, and it'll make you hate yourself.
I'm going to buy 2,500 dark matter, to
Don't do
get
that.
started. It's
how much is that?
14 quid.
Jesus Christ. To make the numbers go up a bit faster. I mean, you'd think the point of it was to just, like, what's the point in cheating at this game? That's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because surely the whole structure of these is that whatever you do, the goalposts are always moving, right? So,
oh God, yeah. I mean,
so spending cash on it is just
that's the
nonsense.
Whole way that free to play works, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
it's to move the goalposts to get people to spend money.
I remember when I was going, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to tap to 1 trillion Right, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. Now I look at it, I've currently got 1.35 AB. I don't even know what number that is. AB. That's after AA. I mean, it's just, which is 100 trillion points, whatever. It's just ridiculous, like the whole fucking thing. But there you go. Right, okay, so I've been playing that. I've also been playing Tales from the Borderlands.
Oh, yeah.
I started it at the weekend. There's a barrier for me that's stopping me from continuing. Well, there's two barriers. Firstly, I think it's probably it's definitely the funniest Telltale game that I've played. I mean, there's been some genuinely really good moments in it. Like, we could probably talk about this episode 1, but
go for it.
Episode 1, there's you're after something, and one of the characters is going to sell you something, and then they stop and walk away. And then you get to decide whether to... It's a really weird choice. It's like mess with their mind or break their heart or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what? And I chose break their heart, and he punched the guy through the chest, grabbed his heart, and then come out with a quick line. And what happens after that made me laugh, like properly belly laugh. I thought, yeah, fair play. But there's two barriers here. First being, it constantly feels like I should know Borderlands. And I know everyone that plays Borderlands says you don't need to know Borderlands. But there's a lot in it where I'm kind of like, I should know some of these characters they're talking about, I feel. I think it's easy to say, if you know Borderlands and you're playing this, it's probably easy to say, no, you don't need to know Borderlands. But as someone that hasn't played that game, going into it, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm missing a lot of references here. You know, like Shades. Is Shades in the game? In like the main games? The guy with the shades.
So is that his actual name, or is that just what you've called him?
You know when you're walking down that hallway and there's dead bodies like being lit up?
Oh, yeah.
There's one called Shades.
Is he actually called Shades?
I think so. I can't remember. I don't know if that's what he's called or that's what the main character is.
Dave, that sounds like something you've given the name of. It's like for
the sake of the listeners, I've played like all the Borderlands games and this, and I don't remember. So
it's got all of your favourite Borderlands characters: Shades, haircut,
legs, man,
gloves,
gun,
gloves on hands,
duck. It's got all the big ones.
Oh, Gary Gunman.
Yeah, border. It's got lands.
And sorry, there are another two barriers. The first being that it seemed to throw a load of shit at me, and I was kind of like, these games aren't ever good to play, so please stop throwing stuff to like the stuff in the robot where you can control in the robot and stuff. I was kind of like, is it trying to tell me, like, it's telling me pick a weapon? And I'm kind of like, is there a way to lose this bit, or is that just different stuff happens within the scene?
I think just different stuff happens.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of fun.
It's just a bit weird. The other thing is that it's Life is Strange. I think it's kind of, I don't know if it's killed Telltale games for me, but there's a lot with how this moves and works in terms of the engine that makes me it leaves me a bit cold. I think what summed it up is that during the credits sequence, it was so well laid out. The shots was so good, and the music pumping and everything was done so well. But it looked like total dog shit because Telltale games look like total dog shit. And I was just thinking, what if they'd just had a break from churning out all these games to make that engine look half decent? Then, you know, less of the stuttering, less of the frame dropping, and actually smartening up the graphics so it looks good. Yeah, this would have been incredible.
More recent stuff has been better. Like the more recent Walking Dead, like Series 3 it looks much better than the other stuff.
But does it look much better in terms of computer games, or does it look much better in terms of Telltale games?
Okay, it looks better in terms of Telltale, but it still looks better. I'd say now it looks better than like Life is Strange does. But then that's like a 360 game or PS3, so it's not really saying
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it wasn't though. Was it a 360 game?
It was. Yeah.
Life is Strange?
I think it was both, yeah.
Oh, shit. All I'm saying is that I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking there's some beautiful work here in terms of cinematography, if you want to call it that. You can't really, because it's a fucking computer game, but...
Well, you can.
the way, well, whatever.
The mise en scène, David.
I actually
That's
know
the episode
that.
title. If Dave can spell it.
I was thinking Gary Gunman, to be honest with you. I don't know. If it looks good, like graphically, I think I would appreciate it so much more, because you're not playing the game as such. You're watching it and playing along with it. And I think I don't know, that sort of stuff should look better to keep me interested. Because this was one thing with the point-and-click adventure games, weren't they? Like, I mean, they always looked pretty good compared to normal games because they had less to do technically, and they could be framed, which is something that games don't really do as often anymore. And for this game to look so bad on the PS4, it's kind of like, oh man.
How interactive is it though? Because this is the other thing that sort of they've really sort of slipped back on now with like Telltale stuff, is do you remember with the original Walking Dead how there was a lot of interaction, like in terms of like, you could like wander around, not really pick stuff up, but you could.
There was
still
actual
have a look
puzzles,
around.
wasn't there?
Yeah. Whereas now, like the most recent, like Walking Dead is like really feels like really, really super on rails. Is this like that?
Oh, okay.
There's a lot more. It doesn't feel. I know what you're saying, because I did. There was a lot less walking about stuff than I remember in the Walking Dead games. However, there's a lot more QTEs and dialogue choices. The dialogue choices I don't really mind, although the timer seems to be really quick on these ones. Whereas in Walking Dead, there was a lot of ones where you had time to think about stuff. Some of them I'm kind of like, I'm not even computing what's on my screen to choose from at this point, so I'm just going to press any button, which is a bit of a ball ache. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to persevere. I'm definitely going to get to the end of episode 1, which I understand is good, but probably the weakest of the lot.
Yeah, basically.
So I will probably persevere, because I don't know. It hasn't turned me off completely, but at the same time, there was just a few things that I need to get over to continue and start enjoying it,
Yeah.
So yeah.
It does, like, because I did struggle later on, because I said before that I played all the Borderlands games. That was a fucking lie, because I never played the pre-sequel.
Oh God, what was that? That was they brought it out, didn't they?
Well, exactly. What was that? It was a bit weird. Didn't it just come out on like last generation, and then it later like came out on current gen? But it was a bit too late by that point. It was all a bit weird. It wasn't the main devs as well. It was handed over to a different team. I know some people really liked it, but never played it. But yes, some of the characters from that start becoming quite important. But I was able to enjoy it, so probably don't worry too much about that stuff, I guess.
Sean, can I ask you a question? Is it still worth playing the Borderlands games? Because I own them, but I've never actually played them. Are they good, or what?
I don't know. It's been too long since I played them. I've not been back to them for a while. They might feel terrible now. I definitely enjoyed the fuck out of Borderlands 1 and 2, yeah. Probably having someone to co-op with would help a lot. But then I played through a lot of them on my own, so yeah. I liked them a lot.
Cool. Right. I want to hear from James. We've been playing.
Well, see, I've only played 2 things this week, really. I mean, I've been playing Uncharted 3, which I'm really close to the end of, I think.
Okay, let's hear it.
Wow, really?
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Have you got past the boat bit?
Yeah, I've done that.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Oh God, that is dog shit.
The bit where you're climbing for 50 years is annoying, but the bit where you're sort of stuck in that ballroom type thing, and there's like guys just, that is so
There's
annoying.
way too many enemies in that bit.
Well, that's the thing, though, because you came off this like one after the other, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah.
Like, so I can really see where the fatigue would have got in, because one of the things that they really don't seem to get with these is like just, giving people too much of something, and that is something which seems to be a problem with Uncharted, I think. As in, the shooting really goes on for far too long, but also like you said, there's that bit on that ship where you have to keep climbing, and it really goes on for ages, doesn't it? It's such a long time. But that being said, and I this has been my favourite of the 3.
Oh, you're a fucking
What
idiot.
is wrong with you?
I'm sorry, but okay.
You're sick.
No, I guess the thing is about it, right? Is okay. So the mechanics, like the shooting.
What are we
hasn't...
thinking? Of course, it would be his favourite. He
What do you
loves a
mean?
fucking hot mess.
It's not a mess at all. It's really highly rated. I mean, it's like everywhere's like 10 out of 10s, you know, whatever. You're the only people I've heard saying it's rubbish. Well, no, you're the only people I've heard saying it's rubbish. It's not rubbish. It's fine.
Okay, no,
I don't think it's rubbish.
It's not rubbish. Just
but
comparable.
it's clearly the weakest of the three.
It's got some of the best set pieces. I mean, that bit in the aeroplane's really fun.
Yeah,
that bit in the airplane is excellent, and the bit in the pub at the beginning, again, excellent. The rest of it.
There's loads of really good stuff, and also, I know, I'm just really enjoying it. It's ended up being one of my favourite ones of the series. So sorry about that.
Okay, let me tell you a few things.
One of the favourite of that 4.
But there are bits where it just completely drops characters and forgets they exist.
When did you do that?
There's a bit where you meet.
Yeah, there's Cutter, and there's also
Cutter just fucks off halfway, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he breaks his legs. There's reasons for it.
There's
reasons.
I know,
but it was a bit like, oh, okay, goodbye. There was one where you're chatting to someone by a gate. I can't remember if it was Elena or Chloe.
I have to say, I was disappointed when Elena turned up again.
Why?
Because she bores me rigid. I can't understand.
She's
why.
A great character.
Oh, God. She's not a great character.
I can just imagine James seeing her come on the corner like, not this.
James, you've got to play 4 after this because she's absolutely brilliant in 4. What's the
other one?
4.
Chloe?
That's the one. She's far more interesting. And, she's great.
Yeah, we all know what James means when he says interesting.
There was a scene where her top came loose and water sprayed.
Elena's just boring. She's just really boring. And I was really disappointed that she wasn't dead in, one of the earlier games.
Jesus Christ!
I think it was
Why aren't you dead yet?
I think it was in Uncharted 2. There was, it was sort of kind of hinted at that she might be gone or there was something had happened. And I was like, oh, got rid of her. That's great. But then she's back again. I don't know. She just bores me. I don't find her that interesting.
What's the name of the character in the new announced sort of one that's coming out this year or next year?
Isn't that about Chloe?
It is Chloe. Yeah.
Okay,
no,
cool.
no, isn't it Chloe and the sort of main enemy, the sort of hitman lady from the 4th one?
I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, James, are you going to play 4 after this?
I want to, but actually after this I'm going to play Rise of the Tomb Raider. Is my next
Oh,
game.
fuck me. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Wow. Then what? Then what are we going to be playing? Are we going to be playing Knack?
Yeah.
And then,
I've already played and finished Knack.
Call of Duty Ghosts. That's all you played and finished that, of course. Because James, if you remember, he came round to my house again recently and didn't bring any games back again. I don't know what's going on with that. I've never known someone to take the piss with someone else's game so much.
As I said, there's two things
I don't know,
for that,
Dave.
right?
There was a time you nicked all my games.
That was a mistake, and I sent them back to, Scott Shelby.
And I had to argue
into trouble with
an hour to get them back from the concierge. Because he said, have you got any idea about Scott Shelby? Like, no, it's a computer game character. He's like, well, what's your name? I'm like, it's Matt Murray. But he's just a Scott Shelby. I was like, no. I had to Google Heavy Rain on my phone and prove that there's a cop in the game called Scott Shelby. He was still very confused. Yeah, thanks, Dave. I've never known anyone take the piss quite so much with their games.
I apologise. I apologised about that and I tried to rectify it straight away. James is like, yeah, fuck it, I'll keep your game for over a year.
No, first of all, right, there's two things with this. I can't believe that you really want Knack back. I mean, let's be honest.
He wants to replay
rubbish.
it before the sequel.
I can't believe you really want your property back, David. That's what you're saying.
Really
I don't give a shit what it is. If you come and borrow my pen, give it back. Don't just leave it at your
He's
desk.
borrowed the pen as well. Taking the piss,
Yes,
James.
he has, Matt. Yes, he fucking has.
The good ones and all.
Pen back, James.
I bought pizza. We bought pizza when he came over last time. Didn't fucking pay for that either.
That's bullshit. I didn't pay you. I paid you back for that.
Yeah, when did you pay me back for it? A couple of days
next
later when I
day.
reminded you the fact that I said, James, did you pay me for that pizza? Oh no, I didn't. No, shall I do a bank transfer? Yes, you need to do a bank transfer.
You're such a dick. That is not how it panned out at all.
Payment for
but anyway,
that food.
such a dick.
I thought it was free.
Anyway, but no, the other thing about those games, right, is it wasn't even you that gave them to me. It was Matt. Matt gave me the impression they were his games.
No,
I didn't even know they were yours.
Off, James. I said these are David's games.
No, you didn't. You just sent me a load of games, and I was like, "Oh, that's really kind of Matt." And then I found out it was David's, and then I get his grief for it.
I definitely told you to do David's. Why would I buy Knack?
I don't know.
Think about
it. Okay. Not all of the games were retrieved that way, though, James, because when you come over to my house, it was a week after Rise of the Tomb Raider come up. I had it to one side because I was going to sell it to get some of the money back. And you said, "Can I borrow that?" And I said, "Yeah, I was going to sell it because I need the money back."
You never said that. And also, I said,
"How long is it going to take you? How long is it going to take you?" You said, "A week."
No,
it's been over a year.
This is so much revisions going on here, right?
It's been over a year.
First of all, right, I never asked you. You said, "Do you want to borrow this?" And I said, "Yeah."
Absolute bollocks, because I wouldn't have done it because I was going to sell it.
You never said that. If you had known that, I never would have borrowed it off you.
James, we all know you're a proven liar, and you're lying now.
This is ridiculous.
You're lying now.
This is totally ridiculous, because it's not true. But anyway, Uncharted 3 is quite good. I'm quite enjoying it.
You're a scumbag. I can't believe you're lying to try and save your reputation.
I'm not
it's
lying.
Fucking horseshit.
What reputation?
Good point, Matt. Good point. The moral of the story to Uncharted 3 is don't lend James anything, because you'll never fucking see us again.
That's the best thing about the story. How far are you? How many chapters have you done so far, James?
I'm on chapter 20 or 21 now, I think.
Oh, wow, yeah, so you must be like literally a chapter from the end.
Yeah, it's as I said, it's good. And I mean, the thing about it is mechanically, like with the shooting is still boring. Let's be honest, it's still not really that fun compared with, like, for example, Tomb Raider. But the characters are brilliant, and that's why I can really understand why it's got a following, because I love the characters a lot.
I think you'll like 4. I mean, they made the shooting a little bit better in 4. It wasn't amazing, but they did improve on that, and the characters, what they go through in 4 is really fucking good.
The story's really strong. There's some really awesome moments. It looks amazing. 4's great.
That ended, man. Fucking brilliant. Right, okay, anything else?
Well, I also played Typewriter, which I really wanted to. I was hoping that somebody else would play it, but
someone else did play it. James.
We were all going to play it, weren't we? And then most of us didn't.
I played it.
I installed it.
It's just you, then, David, right?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm not looking forward to this.
It's just,
James, that was one fucking boring game.
It is not a boring game at all.
Let's explain the game first before we argue about it.
Okay, before he does, right, get ready for the most fucking middle-aged computer game, the sort of game your dad would have played on the PC, like back in the late 90s.
I'm sorry. I find learning new stuff interesting, David. I'm sorry about that.
That's what my dad said. That's what my dad said.
This is that sort of game.
He was on Snopes. Snoops.com.
This is that sort of game where there will be like a 4-hour Kano Rinse special in it.
Oh God, yes. Go on. Go.
So anyway, this was a free PSN game, and I did end up really loving it. I mean, what it is it's kind of like a platform game, like sort of a platform puzzling kind of game. Apparently, it was made for French TV. Like, it was like a French TV channel, like, funded it. And basically, it traces developments in typography, like, over the centuries.
Okay, I'm done. Questions?
I think this sounds good.
It is
good, Sean.
It is good.
You've just confirmed everything I've just said. Go on.
So, I don't know what I'm going to say about this now, because I know you're just going to slag it off, and it's ridiculous. Because basically, I mean, each level is made up of words that you then sort of navigate with a colon. So that's like sort of dots.
Oh, you walked into that one, James.
I know. As soon as I thought of that, I thought, but it is a colon. You're controlling a colon, and it basically like jumps off serifs and stuff like that, and you solve simple puzzles. Is the way it goes. Throughout the level, you pick up these sort of stars, and this fills out like these handbooks, which look really nice. Like they're really well presented. Like these sort of.
They don't. They look like an encyclopedia CD-ROM.
No, they don't, David. They're not
early 90s.
This is such bullshit. They're really well presented. Like they've got this really nice sort of like hardbound books, which basically which basically it starts off in sort of like ancient, like sort of prehistory sort of time to try and show how sort of, man eventually, started to sort of scratch things on walls and everything. But then it doesn't really focus on that much, and then it goes on to basically onto typography and sort of showing how this has evolved over time. And so as you go through the levels, you pick up these styles, and then you get like added extra sort of entries into the book. And I found them really interesting to read. Like I really enjoyed it because I find typography interesting. So this was something which I found, because what it does is it focuses on also sort of the history behind the fonts, but then also there's political and sort of historical reasons why they sort of evolved in this way. And that I find really interesting. But the thing about it that I liked was that there's just enough with everything where it doesn't feel like everything's overkill. Like it never gives you too much information. I mean, probably it did for David, but for for me, it was just about enough sort of information on each page to sort of get an idea of what was going on. But also, what's really cool is that as you go through sort of the different eras, the style of the visuals and the background sort of change and sort of evolve as well, like to match the style of that era. So you've got like Gothic design, and in the background everything is kind of like Gothic, and then later on it goes up to like the digital age, and then you've got like pixels and stuff like that, and there's even like a Comic Sans bit which is pretty good. But
I bet you were cracking up, weren't you?
It was pretty good.
Such good sense of humour that they've put Comic Sans in there. And then you read another book. Boring
James,
fuck.
Is there a Gill Sans bit?
Hang on, are you literally taking the piss out of James for reading books?
Yeah.
James?
Yes. Who reads books? Sean, it's 2017, mate. Come on. We don't need books anymore. We've got audio books now.
DVDs, mate.
Right, here's my problem with it, James.
No, can I just finish, right? Because
God.
No,
Really?
because the other thing about it that felt really right is that it's not difficult. Like the puzzles that you have to sort of figure out, they're really not that difficult, and it's the length of it for me just felt really perfect. Like you can finish it in about an hour or 2 hours or so, and I just was enraptured by it. I thought it was really interesting. I found it a really interesting way to present this information, and I like that a lot. I thought it was good.
Okay, I've got two questions before Dave jumps in. One, do they cover Gill Sans at all?
They do, yes. Yeah,
because the inventor of Gill Sans, Eric Gill, he fucked a dog, didn't he? So is that mentioned in the game?
It is not mentioned by Matt. No.
Sorry, Matt. What?
Is that real? Is that
That's real? Yeah.
What are you talking about? How's that connected to a font?
Because he invented Gill Sans, but he also
fucked
banging
a dog.
dogs.
Yeah, they didn't mention
How
that.
did that come out? How did that... Guys, I've just invented this new font. Okay,
and look what I'm writing with it.
My penis has been inside a dog.
So I'm just Googling Gill Sans dog, and it seems you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's world famous. Everyone knows that. Also,
is it written in that font as well? I fucked a dog.
So, David, you don't find fonts interesting at all? You don't find it interesting?
Funny enough, James, no, I don't find fonts interesting.
You are such a Philistine. You are such a Philistine.
I've got a second question. Is there a chapter on wingdings?
No, there is not. No. There's no wingdings.
They fucked it. They fucked it. That's DLC, Matt.
DLC.
The wingdings episode.
Well, I'm intrigued.
No,
I think it sounds really interesting. It reminds me a bit of. Do you remember Never Alone? Was it Never Alone? The Eskimo one.
Oh, I do know of that game, yeah.
And that was kind of like, it was an interesting idea, even though the way it handled, like the documentary stuff was literally play a level of a game, watch a minute-long documentary about an element of the culture, and it was really interesting, but it was kind of clumsy. It would sometimes be clever in the way it would the little documentary, it would introduce a concept which would then appear in the game. The problem was the game was shit. It was really frustrating, and it just felt like I'd rather just sit and watch the documentary bits. Whereas this seems a bit more neatly integrated.
Yeah, and it's really well integrated.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Right, okay, can I just explain why? Because, to be honest, if anything's presented well, I'd be interested in it. But this issue, or jokes aside, right, this is the issue that I had with it. I started playing, and I came across like the cave paintings bit, and I hit an item, and it was just wall of text. And I was like, oh, come on, man, I don't. And then I said, fair enough, I'll read it. So I read it, and I was like, okay.
Were you grudgingly reading it, David?
Well, yeah, I was. And I got to the end of
it.
I was like, okay, well, it's just told me what cave paintings is. I got to the very next screen, and it was just wall of text again. I was like, don't take the piss. I read that, and I was like, okay, still, there's nothing really there that makes me want to read this stuff. Very next screen, another wall of text, and I was like, oh, fuck off. And the puzzles weren't, as you say, they were pretty basic, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I think it looks nice in places, but there was...
They get more complicated, the puzzles, as you go along.
But I was kind of like, there's nothing here that's keeping me... Like, there's nothing drawing me in. There's a lot of like...
If you're not interested in that, then it wouldn't, would it? I mean, that's the thing.
So, Computer Game Show listeners, if you don't give a shit about font, then probably don't play this game.
No,
because I was sitting there just going, oh, mate, who cares?
This game sounds perfect for Twitch.
That's the thing. Oh, this annoys me.
Go on.
Well, this is not annoys me. You're just like, I don't care about fonts. And it's like, it's not just fonts, though, because it's also explaining the way that, this has sort of influenced society over time.
Yeah, but this is your arrogance, James. This is your arrogance. Because you're sitting there thinking, well, if I'm interested in it, you should be.
No, I'm saying that from reading this sort of stuff, you can get sort of more insight into the way that humanity has developed. Why isn't that interesting?
Well, because I don't find that interesting.
Okay, whatever.
I don't give a shit about Chinese history either, James. Sorry, mate. There's quite a few people along with me on this one. I've got a feeling that I'm in the majority. I look. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I couldn't get into it. It got to a point where I just thought, mate,
too much reading, innit?
Well, it's just a boring subject, James. I don't give a shit about fucking Comic Sans. People use it ironically, and it pisses me off. That's about as far as my interest goes. Next game. Is that it? Are we done?
That's it. That's all I've got.
Good. Let's do some emails.
If you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
He's totally deflated.
I was hoping that Sean would at least have played it, because I was kind of banking on the fact that he would have got it.
No, I'm definitely going to give it a go for next week.
Please do, Sean. I can't wait for you to try and defend it. Go on.
Stu says, I went into the Prey demo with high hopes, but quickly got bored, despite liking similar games in the past, so I turned off the demo and started playing the latest Worms game for several hours instead.
Stu, come on.
I know, I can kind of understand. Anyway, over the years, my taste in games have changed considerably, but Worms has always remained a mainstay in my collection. I can think of only two other game series with similar lasting power for me, Civilization and Pro Evo. Do you guys have a genre or game series that you never tire of? Why do you think they have lasted the test of time when others haven't?
It's good.
I'm with him on the Worms thing, I have to say. Like, I know people take the piss out of Team 17 for just churning them out, but once a generation, I'll buy a Worms game. Yeah. Easy.
I definitely would go with Civilization as well. I've played all of those. I absolutely love them. But also, I mean, there's games, just stupid stuff like Tetris. It's a game that I always go back to a lot. But also football.
Yeah, football games are like a staple, aren't they? I mean, this has been probably the least amount of football games, like time spent on a football game this past season than I've ever spent. It's crazy. I've barely played. I've played a lot of Pro Evo, but I haven't been playing online most nights. But that's because Rocket League has come along, and that's totally replaced it for me. I just love Rocket League. That sort of, I guess it's kind of in the same genre, but it's not. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, in terms of, I don't think you can nail it down to genres, because I mean, shooters. I will always play shooters. I will always love playing shooters. I guess. I mean, I think I'm that way ever since, the old days of. I wasn't really into first-person shooters when they were all like flat and shit, like Doom, and he just had a heart attack. But no, I didn't really play them then. But it's when I started getting into, Quake and Unreal Tournament and stuff that I started really getting into first-person shooters, GoldenEye and Halo, and there's a whole timeline with the shooters that I'd bounce to, and I would and of course racing games as well. I still love a bit of Forza and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think football games would probably be the prime example of this, because I up until recently I used to play them almost every night, and now Rocket League has taken that away from me. Anyone else?
I guess in terms of series, I mean, GTA is, every time there's a GTA, I will just hammer that until it's done.
Yeah.
It's just consistently incredible. I don't think I'll ever get bored of that, really.
I take it you're going to be... Yeah, but you didn't finish Red Dead. What happened there? What was the difference?
I said GTA.
Because
fundamentally, I just didn't find riding a horse as fun as bombing, driving a car. And so... that, I just think in GTA it's just fun as fuck just driving a car down the roads, whereas I didn't have that same feeling.
Because I know you and gaming quite a bit now, and your tastes and what you like and what you don't like. I'm wondering whether you're just in one of those shit phases that we've all been in, where, you play a game that you should really love, but you just kind of, you're not in the right headspace at that time or whatever, because that game, like, just riding around, okay, I totally agree with you. Riding a horse around was nowhere near as fun as bombing it around in a car that you've just nicked. However, the shit you would find on, like, your travels, it was proper, I know it's stupid to say, but it was proper Breath of the Wild stuff where you would go, I wonder what's up there, and then you'd go up there and then find something up there and it would start like a whole side
I do definitely remember
stuff.
playing it and like, having awesome stories, like going, and I remember playing it and enjoying it. I just didn't finish it, and I think Battlefield 3 came out at around that time, and I just stopped playing. But I've rebought it on Xbox, and it was cheap when it went digital. So, also when it went backwards compatible, and it was cheap on digital.
Have you still got your save?
It's unlikely. So no, I'll start again because I don't even remember what was happening back then anyway. So I've got 2 other games to play, but I've got it in digital ready to go. Just and
I think Dave's right. Sometimes it can be the headspace thing because that's how I feel about Prey at the moment. I know that probably I probably would like it, but I just don't. It doesn't feel like the kind of game I want to play at the moment, and I probably would end up hating it if I do. And,
the funniest for that is From Software games, because you really have to be in the right mindset to sort of play through those games.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they could just like completely piss you off. I watched a stream of John Denton trying to play through Bloodborne again, which is one of his favourite games of all time. And he got to the first boss and just like almost chucked his headset down and said, "Should we play Rocket League?" It was like looked at the camera and specifically spoke. That's weird. Watching a Twitch show, and I know John and everything, but watching a Twitch show and watching the person streaming look directly at the camera and say, "Dave, can we just play Rocket League?"
Like he's reached out of the telly.
Yeah. Talking directly to. I had to text him to double check that he said it, just in case it was me just having a breakdown in my phone.
But yeah, like when Neo came out, and everyone's like, it's like it's actually fucking almost as good as Dark Souls, and I had to go on it. It's like, it's all dark and it's raining and it's really hard. Nah, I'm not doing it. I can't. It's just I'm not. I wasn't in the right place to accept another one of those games into my life.
No, it's nuts, isn't it? Yeah. Right, okay, next question.
DV says, Dear Games Masters, what topic or game would you choose if you were asked to present an in-depth video game-related panel to a small room of Chinese businessmen?
What? I don't get the question. If you were in
it's relating to James's forthcoming panel in China.
Yeah, but what's the meaning of the game to explain what?
Yeah, you can
basically pick a topic or a game that you would be comfortable presenting a panel on.
Oh,
I guess.
Tights, I guess. Tights 2, and why it's the most badass game of all time. Yeah, but there's loads actually that I think I could just chat to people about for fucking ages.
No, it's not a chat. I guess in my mind it's a presentation, but I guess it would be a panel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, technically, like a.
He says present a panel. So interpret that however you wish. I think Destiny's probably up there.
Yeah, but you'd have to.
You'd have to brush up on
the
latest law, the latest meta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you would do Dark Souls law. Dark Souls law would be a good one. For you,
definitely.
I think.
I could probably do Monster Hunter and talk about Monster Hunter for a long time, as has been documented on this very show.
Rocket League goalkeeping. I could do a 2-hour presentation on that.
No,
how to goalkeep.
Dave, there's no point. I hear that every time you play.
Yeah, because I have to explain to you that you can't just go rushing up the pitch all the time, Matt. I mean,
I don't do that. I sit back.
Get into position, get in goal. You don't sit back.
I do.
The amount of times I've bombed it forward to try and put the ball in the neck and then seeing you behind me. Why are you behind me? Oh, it's just
because I'm covering the goal when you're up front. Anyway, let's not talk about. I would probably present Sega racing games from the 90s. Sega Rally, Daytona, Scud Race, Max TT, all the biggies.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good
Love
one.
them.
James?
Scud Racer.
Type Rider? No. Probably.
I love that.
Probably Phoenix Wright. I'd go for that series because, I could talk about that. It's great.
Yeah, but what would the panel be? Like, just what would the subject be? What angle would you take?
What, for Phoenix Wright?
Yeah.
I don't know, because, I mean, what would we expect to do? I mean, yeah.
Oh, come on, Dave. I thought you set me up for that.
Go on.
I mean, what are we doing? Are we outlining like a history?
Yes,
of,
give me the deck.
you
Give
know,
me the
the-
20
We've got
page
Dark
deck.
Souls lore, goalkeeping in Rocket League, the specific era of Sega racing games, and you've just gone
Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix Wright.
Next question.
I know.
2 hours on times that Phoenix Wright has said objection, and everyone went, whoa.
See, what you should do is a panel on why you should not play Phoenix Wright on mute.
Yeah, that is a really good idea, actually.
Oh,
It's when the music was amazing.
I'd
in
love to
Phoenix
watch
Wright.
that, James.
2 hours.
Matt, you watch it in mute.
Yeah, because I wouldn't attend the panel. I wouldn't attend the...
My God.
Okay, next one is from Luke Summerhays. He says, "Hi lads, you guys are a little bit older than me, but I've never actually felt that difference as much as I did listening to you whine and whine about Mario Kart 8's online. While I acknowledge it needs a better party system, that issue is normally solved after a race or two. But all the voice chat organising your mates issue is such a non-problem. I never don't have
It's
my
not.
phone, my laptop, Twitter, Skype all running at once. Voice chat on Xbox and PlayStation is crap anyway. It's really not. So I could not care less. Also, this is basically a Wii U game. Splatoon 2 is coming post-app, and by the end of Splatoon's life, there was a really good suite of parties and tournaments and so on, so have faith. Love from the sexy young thing, Luke Summerhays."
Luke,
I disagree with all that, because it's bollocks.
Yeah, he's not sexy or young.
I mean,
This is nuts.
so obviously I agree with bits of that. The things I would take issue with, I mean, you mentioned Splatoon 2's coming post-app. We still don't know how good the app is. Might be shit. And, by the end of Splatoon's life, there was a really good suite of parties and tournaments and so on, but it was too late by that point for most people. Like, I want all that day one. Like, that's what Splatoon 2 needs to really fly.
All we want
but,
is at
we'll see.
least parity with the original Xboxes online.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
I don't
That
think
would be enough.
that's much to ask. I
No.
don't think it's,
That's what I'm saying. Yes, you can find ways around it to make it a non-problem. You totally can, right? I understand that point of view.
shouldn't
However,
have to.
exactly my point. And not only that, don't worry, the app's coming soon. You're going to have to fucking pay for it. Like, you can pay for it. Mate,
It's interesting
honestly.
he identifies this as an age thing, because I think there's something in that, because I definitely remember, like, early 20s, I would just turn the 360 on and be like, right, who's on, what are they playing? Oh, I'll join them, or I'll start playing this, and other people will join. Like, that whole sort of informal, it just sort of works itself out. That was a thing, but very much isn't for me anymore. I assume you guys are the same.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Like, I used to I never used to organise playing online with people. I just used to turn the fucking console on and people would be on. Or if they,
you're probably right. Because now,
whereas now, like, we have to book it in, you know?
you got less, well, not so much like book it in, but these days, because there's two things, isn't there? You've got less time to game, so more time pissing about trying to get the voice tool be working is just shaving off the minimal amount of time you get to game these days.
Yeah, if that's like a quarter of your session, then that's
Which it isn't,
not good.
but it's still
Yeah.
enough to be thinking, I could be playing now. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just frustrating, and James put it bang on there. I just want it to be as good as the original Xbox Live was. I'm good. Fuck me, was that 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. My
Longer than I
word.
think.
Okay.
Okay, Adam from Stoke-on-Trent says, quick question. Not heard you talk about HoloLens much. Excited for it?
Well, we don't know what it is yet, do we? Last time we saw it was...
We know what it is, but it's also...
prototype.
Ridiculously expensive.
All we've seen is like concept demos and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Concept demos,
really...
and we've seen that it's a prototype to the point where the field of vision is tiny. It's a tiny little square. Although wasn't there reports that they'd improved on that massively? I don't know. Until we see something a little bit more concrete on what it does and what it means and what they're going to do with it, then there's nothing to get excited for.
I mean, my fellow host on Interface, a technology podcast, may be able to clarify this as well.
Technology podcast? Have you heard it recently? You barely talk about technology.
We talk about technology, David.
Talked about Brexit for the episode, like for a whole episode,
and the technology around that.
Go on.
But no, the HoloLens, isn't it like being marketed mostly for like business use, isn't it? I thought that was the whole thing with this.
I don't know if we're going to see much gaming use out of it. This is like 5 years plus away. I mean, obviously dev kits you can buy now for like $3,500, and it feels like it's
bargain.
a lot. It's a long way away. I don't expect to see it at E3. Yeah, and it's very much geared towards. I mean, it's mixed reality, which is going to be arguably bigger than VR, and that's very much more geared towards businesses and real life versus sort of immersive gaming experiences. So I'm excited to see it, but it's so far off. Actually, it's just slightly related to this. Obviously, everyone thinks that it's pretty much a given that Scorpio will run Oculus stuff. Well, Oculus have confirmed they're not actually going to be E3 this year, which is interesting. I mean, they're not going to have their own stand. If they were doing like a deal with Scorpio, do you not think they would have their own stand? I mean,
well, no, they'd be on the Microsoft stand, wouldn't they?
Yeah, just rolling with the Microsoft.
Yes, yeah. But I don't know. I thought that was a bit strange that they won't be.
Have we just ruined your conspiracy theory there, Matt?
Yes, I've got so much paperwork. And behind me on the wall is Oculus in the middle, red string. I've been working on it for weeks, but no.
And now he's tearing it down.
The case closed.
Cool. Next question.
Okay, we're on to tweets. If you want to tweet us, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter. The first one we got is from Ricky Prickles. He says, I would like to know if any of you have been missold PPI. Matt Murray in particular, thank you.
Matt Murray's almost definitely been missold PPI. Were you?
No. I mean, the answer is no. I can't even bother to go into it. The answer is no.
I once had a tax rebate. That was good. No PPI, but I got a big tax rebate. That was pretty good. However, it took them 6 months to pay me back, to the point where the woman at HM Revenue and Customs said to me, we've got it on your file here that you've called us every week asking for your money back. Can you please stop calling us? And I just replied, if I owed you this amount of money, would you stop calling me? And she went quiet. And I went, exactly, give me my money back.
Exactly. Speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah, same time tomorrow. Got it back in the end, bought a wedding ring, but an engagement ring. No, not really, Sean. It's a bit. It was one of those moments where where you'd probably save just before it in a computer game, just to see how it panned out the other way.
I might not be able to go back after this.
yeah, there was a warning.
Yeah, no save.
Are you sure you've done everything you wanted to do because you cannot return? No, I haven't, but I can't be bothered. And then you go past it and think, oh, actually, I should have. Right. Okay. Next question.
The Nick Parton says, how about redoing the Joypod Partners survey for TCGS? It was funny as shit last time.
We're not going to be able to go back, are we? We can't do that again. No. I don't think.
Nah.
And unless there's a really good reason to do it, I say we don't go back. Mm-hmm. But that was fun when we did it before. So who knows? But now's not the right time.
Yeah.
If we've done it, you know that we're running low on content.
Yes. So look forward to that next week.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick says, if you could time travel, what advice would you give your younger selves?
See that cocaine. Do it.
I'd probably say don't marry her. Would be
definitely.
That's a joke, by the way. You're referring to really old episodes of the podcast.
A bit on the nose.
I'll explain after the show, but our hardcore listeners will get it. I would, in all seriousness, I'd probably say, and if you're listening to this, I don't know the age range of our listeners, right? If you're 15, 16, 17, like you're in that sort of period of your life, don't worry about everything. That's probably what I'd say. I'd go back to that period of my life and just go, do you know what? Just be confident and don't fucking freak out about everything, because at the end of the day, it ain't that bad. Like, the shit I was worrying about at that age is just, don't worry about that stuff.
Bollocks. Yeah.
Don't worry, it gets much worse later. Then you can really worry about things.
No. It's like internally you get better. It's just you become more aware of how awful everything is around you.
Yeah, exactly. And like, talking to girls back then seemed like the most. Just the nerves I would get. It would make me feel sick inside, and you just want to go. There's just other people going about life and that, and if you know what, if you go up to someone, be it a girl or someone that you want to be mates with or whatever, and they act like a cunt in front of you, just go, okay, that person's a cunt. Don't worry about it. Let's move on with my life. But you're never going to be able to do that. You never, because that's how every teenager is. Like that's the shit that's most important to them. So that's the shit that freaks them out. I mean, there was even stuff when I was first started out my job and stuff, and I was freaking out about every little thing that I would go back to myself and say, yeah, you know that stuff, it ain't that bad. Just wait. In about 10 years' time, when you really fuck up, that's what you need to worry about. It's bizarre how much your confidence kind of grows when you get older and you look back on shit that used to keep you up at night and you just think, man, wow, have a word. Yeah. Sorry, that was a bit serious, wasn't it? It's just the way my brain works.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
No one else got any other advice?
I could do a whole show on this, but I guess mine is very similar. I mean, about not worrying. Also, there was one point where like my dick was literally touching another girl's fanny, but I said no, don't have sex with her because there's no condoms. I mean, I could have just put it in, but I didn't. I chose not to. And
what the hell?
I feel like you're currently on the right side of history there, man.
Yeah, probably. That's a huge regret, though. I mean, I could have. It was touching.
You were 12 though, so
it's on the Millennium Eve as well. It's like, yeah. Oh, Ali, if you're listening, I'm
Jesus,
sorry.
Don't name her.
She's not listening. She's probably dead.
Good point. She was 60.
Can we just move on? Can we move on, right? Stanchel says, will there be a Pod Night Resistance 2 before Sean's retirement?
Did he fuck up the word in there, or did you fuck up the word?
No, because it says like resistance on the thing.
Right. Fair enough. Oh, of course, yeah.
So he's talking about when we used to do the big Christmas collaboration, right?
I mean, tell us, would you rather us do that, or would you rather us do another tournament again? Because, I'll be honest with you, the tournament was shorter. There was a lot more drama.
Or easier.
I can't do another, like, how long was that one that we did, where it was like, it felt like 12 hours. It was like...
We've done a few, like, 7 or 8 hour ones, and basically, I mean, like, last year we didn't do it.
And we felt a lot happier about that as well. It was good.
Yeah, basically, like Midnight Resistance, we just did like an end of year quiz. Obviously, TCGS, we did the tournament, and they were shorter. And yeah, basically, everyone agreed that no one wanted to sit on Skype for 8 hours over Christmas anymore. That's not.
Yep.
It's not something
precious
you can
time
do as a grown
ticking
adult.
away.
Yep.
Cool. Next question.
Ada Black says, "How do your friends and family view your gaming hobby?"
They're used to it at this point.
They give a
They're used to it
shit.
at this point. If I change now, it'd be quite crazy.
Like obviously to an extent, you learn that like a lot of people just don't care, so you kind of stop mentioning it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, why talk about the latest computer game to someone that has no interest in computer games? That's true with a lot of stuff as well. It's like music now. If I really like an album, I tend to just whatever. I just keep it to myself now because no one gives a shit about what albums I like. I still get shit for it. I mean, especially now that, you know, Harry seems to be getting into games and stuff, and like Joel will turn around and go, "Oh, why don't you just play normal games with him?" And I'm just like, we're both happy, chill out. But my mum and dad, they get embarrassed every time I buy a computer games console. I think I should be spending the money on other things. I don't know. They're weird. But yeah, I just don't care. I just like games and that. So, whatever.
See, my parents were like, were your parents ever involved when you were a kid? Because my dad used to sort of try, but then by the time we were sort of 10 or 11, he'd just sort of given up.
Yeah, my dad was legit. Like the games we used to play. I mean, I remember the first sort of games thing that I started getting into was the Atari STE, and he would play Double Dragon with me all the time. He used to play Mario Kart, Halo. We played together, and every football game that come out. Yeah, he quite liked computer games, so I was lucky in that way. Because
the only thing I ever got out of my dad, he played Tetris. He liked that, and also Hang On was the only other game he played.
Oh, really? What, the bike game?
Yeah, because he was really into motorbikes. That was his thing when he was a kid, when he was like a teenager and growing up. But anything else, not interested, doesn't care.
Fair enough. Do your parents know that you do podcasting and stuff?
Yeah, they know I do, yeah.
Have they ever listened to any of it?
No.
It's funny, isn't it? 'Cause a lot of people say, oh, yeah, you know, my parents have heard bits and pieces, I guess, or whatever. I mean, even when we were on Play Radio, they wouldn't listen. And then when we were on the FM for college and stuff, and the parents just didn't tune in once. It was just, they were weird by stuff like that. They've got no
I
interest
don't even listen to this. You know, it's like, I don't think, they definitely won't.
Yeah, it's true. No, okay.
I remember I was chatting to my brother once, and he was talking about, it was when Star Wars Episode 7 had just come out, and me and my brother were talking about Star Wars. I can't remember exactly what it was that I said, but basically revealing that I knew a lot about Star Wars, and like my mum was like really surprised. I was like, "Mum, really sorry." And if you haven't noticed over the last 30 years, I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah. I'm not the quarterback, Mum. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not the quarterback you wanted. I'm not going to be
we thought you like Tranmere, and all that.
So like it's like you know, you assume this stuff is obvious, and I guess like. And I get, obviously she knows that I'm a nerd, but I get, like, you forget that you can just come out with stuff that is literally like another fucking language to them. And they're like, oh shit, what's this?
I'm not the planking. Yeah, I get that as well with, I said it before, I said it on a podcast before where, like I've got young cousins and stuff. And we were at like a family barbecue, and I was having a full-blown, very interesting conversation about Destiny mechanics with them. And like their dad looked at me and just sort of shook his head. Like, what the
Ring the police.
Oh, yeah, it was like basic stuff for us. It was like, oh, have you done Vault of Glass? Yeah, that bit where, what is it called? What was that thing called where you got, not when you got stuck in time, but when you suddenly got wiped out by the first boss? Like Eye of Judgment or something like that.
Yeah.
No, that was that awful PS4 game, PS2 game or whatever it was. But yeah, we were chatting about all that sort of stuff, and the blank stares we were getting from everyone else in the room was hilarious because we were just having this full-blown conversation. But yeah, weird.
It's weird. Like because I've got a colleague who she has like a son who's like 11 or 12. So she'll like sometimes she'll be like, oh, yeah, look at this, and like he's drawn some like Tracer fan art and stuff.
Oh God.
I'm like, oh shit!
Don't worry.
He's only little. It's fine. And she knows enough to know that I would be like, oh, that's cool. But then I can't have a conversation with her about it because it's still like another world. So yeah, it's weird.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Athene says Mario Kart 8 was the best-selling game, retail game in the UK in April. Is Nintendo doomed?
Very much so.
No, I think
that whole sort of narrative is properly wearing off.
Yeah, it's ebbing away, and it's people seem a bit more positive about it.
Yeah, because even it was always frustrating that even when the Wii U like was doing all right, you still got these stories that are like, but is it enough? Yeah, all right, lay off. But yeah, whereas now everyone just seems pretty on board with the Switch now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see how long that it sustains the sort of high praise and goodwill. Because
could all
it's going to be a dry spell.
Fart out into nothing. Yeah,
E3 is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's a big one for them.
Because if they come out with loads of the things we want, say like Metroid, F-Zero, all that big stuff, it's
not going to happen, Matt.
Okay, okay. If it doesn't happen, then it's just like here's another Animal Crossing. The goodwill is to the point where, well, awesome, it's another game on the Switch, so I'll be happy. But I think there will be a bit of like, so we've got Mario Kart. We know Mario's coming this year. We just had Zelda. What else is coming if I don't?
It was around the corner. Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting.
If the Switch is as good as, like, for example, the GameCube, I'd be really happy with that. That'd be fine. That'd be totally fine. Just not like the Wii U, please. Yeah.
Cool. Is there any more?
Yeah. Rich says, have Matt and James played episodes 3 and 4 of The Walking Dead yet?
No.
Says no.
But these come out so quick and literally no one's talking about them. And on the menu, it says there's 5 episodes, right? So
yeah, I think
it's almost over.
They messed
no
this
one's
up.
mentioned it at all. It's a bit sad.
They messed this up. They shouldn't have released those first 2 like straight, one after at the same time, and then there was like such a massive gap between episode again, 3. Yeah. It's like they didn't really build up any momentum. It's a shame. But I will play it because I've paid for it. It's I'm kind of now waiting for episode 5, and then I'm just going to do all of them in a go. Also,
the first 2 were really, really good, and there's a great sort of cliffhanger ending to 2. So I'm definitely going to do it. But it's just it's a shame that it's never going to have that water cooler moment that the first one had, where every week people were talking about it, or every episode. Sorry, everyone's talking about it, but. Yeah, I don't know what Telltale can do next, really. I mean, they can have a billion other licenses, but I don't think I'm going to be playing any of them.
Okay.
Did you just say some very funny font then, James?
No, because what happened was I was looking at the next tweet by Tom Durbin, who says, "What is your favourite video on YouTube?" And then he's like linked to it. I just watched it, and it did make me laugh. It's quite good. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a ridiculous.
Oh shit! That is good. Sorry.
Which one is it? What is it? What is it put there?
It's the one with the horse.
That is good. The one with the horse.
I'll put a link in the show notes. I'll put it on the account.
Yeah. I've got a ridiculous amount of answers for this. I like the one where the Australian bloke gets arrested and he's shouting at the cameras as he's getting arrested things like, man, I see you know your judo well. Have a look at the headlock here. This is the man who touched me on the penis, people.
Yeah, that's a class.
Are you sitting there ready to receive my limp penis?
Order a nice Chinese meal. Is that the same one?
Yeah, that one. A succulent Chinese meal. That one, there's... Soda pop. Have you seen that one? Where it's some guy trying to prank people by going down and sitting next to them and saying, I've shit my pants before, have you shit your pants? And he sits next to this Chinese guy who just totally earnest, not trying to be funny, not nothing, just looks up into the sky, thinks about the question he's just been answered, and then proceeds to tell him about when he shit his pants once. And he's like, I drank Dr. Pepper... Diet Coke, Fanta, and I got a stomach ache and I pooped my pants. And
it's not as good about the accent, but it's a banging video.
Yeah, you got to have the accent. I just could not do that without sounding racist. So I dropped that. There's also How Can She Slap is another classic one. It's an Indian reality TV show where a woman slaps a man in the face and he slaps her back and then the whole crew beat the shit out of him while he's screaming, How can she slap? How can she slap? That's a good one. The OK Guy is one of my favourites. If you don't know why we've been going, okay, recently, it's because of the OK Guy. Do you know that, Sean?
Yeah, I think you showed me that one.
Just someone on a bridge and she's panning round to what looks like her tour guide and goes, hi. And he just sort of smiling at the camera and goes, okay. It's just the funniest thing. I mean, there's an untold amount of good YouTube videos, isn't there?
There's a lot out there,
yeah. What?
Oh, I don't know. That just made me laugh. Yeah, there's a lot of good videos. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next question. YouTube.com.
Okay, Metal Gear Salad says, are any of you like the Mad Max game? I think Sean did, yeah?
Well, let me tell you about the latest episode of the Kane and Rince podcast. in which I am on it talking about the Mad Max video game.
This is like the second one in about 4 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had another question about this, actually, haven't we? Do you want to read that out?
Yeah, go on. James,
go on.
Yeah.
Pay attention, mate.
What?
Get off your Switch.
We just said read the next one about Sean and Kane and Rince.
Sorry, I was watching How Can She Slap. It's
Have you not seen that?
I've never seen it. No, it's
classic. Watch it. I'll wait till the end, though. Eh?
okay.
We're still got the show going. You're in the Play Radio studio. Remember what we agreed?
Darren Gorget says, you probably already argued about this, but how does each of you feel about Sean's reappearance on the mighty Kane and Rince?
I think it's embarrassing. He's lowering his standards.
Again,
next question.
You know,
if it's any consolation, I've been on 2 in relatively quick succession, but now I'm not back until October or something. So
I just think
don't worry about it.
You know, it's good to do your bit for the local community, but you don't want to look like one of them. You know what I mean? Because you ruin your reputation elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever be like a full-time member.
No,
I think that'd be too weird.
No, it's why someone like Tamor would never join us full-time. Because, you know, he's all right to give us helping hand once in a while, but at the end of the day, he's the editor of GameSpot and he needs to look professional. Next question.
James.
Are you fucking kidding me, James?
Yeah.
Stop watching YouTube.
Stop watching YouTube videos.
Sorry, I just saw the thing. It's quite funny. Yeah, she goes.
This is right. Okay, we're going to end the show there because James isn't paying attention. James, this is outrageous.
Sorry.
Put your fucking phone down, you prick.
It's fine. I'm done.
Okay.
Close the window.
We've set up a Discord channel. The tweet is pinned to the top of our Twitter account. Just go to @ComputerGamePod on Twitter, and there's a link there to join Discord. It'll be awesome to see everyone and anyone in there. You can also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's not iTunes anymore; it's Apple Podcasts. They've rebranded it, so leave us a review there. That'd be awesome. The show is also on YouTube. It's on Facebook, and it's on all the other social channels.
If you happen to know someone that has worked or is working with someone involved in, what is it called? Missing Edith Finch or something? What's that game called, Sean?
Oh, What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah, if you know anyone that's worked on that or is working in PR, then get in touch because I want a free copy of that. It looks good.
Yeah, I'd love to play it too, actually. Make it too.
Millwall in the playoffs, aren't they? So, also, that reminds me, if anyone's got a Club Wembley connection, sort me out for the playoff final, will you, on May the 20th. That's a new part of the show that I like to call David Wants Free Shit. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for living it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
Okay.